Ho 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 friends, Martyupnorth here, coming at you live from the North Pole. And not quite coming at you live from my house, but this is going to be a quick video. I'm probably going to do it all in one take, not going to be a lot of editing. If you saw the title, it's the 12 Days of Christmas. I just want to give you guys 12 ideas for stocking stuffers for Christmas. Now, most of the people that are watching this video are already, seasoned backpackers, and you know about this stuff. And you might not learn a lot from the video, but the reason I'm making this video is get your family members, get your friends who have to buy you a Christmas present and have them watch this video to get inspired and have some ideas for stocking stuffers. I'm not talking about tents and $100 items. I'm talking about things that are generally under $50 that'll be great stocking stuffers. I'm going to give you the 12 stocking stuffers according to Martyupnorth. All right, we're going to start small. And some of these things I'm going to talk about are not necessarily, I'm not going to talk about brand names. I'm going to talk about an item in general. So, number one on my list of ideas for stocking stuffers is an inflatable pillow. So this one happens to be the one by Outdoor Vitals. You've seen me use this one for a long time. Takes 2 seconds to inflate and weighs next to nothing, and you get yourself a nice inflatable pillow shaped in this case, shaped for a mummy style sleeping bag. Now, if you don't have a pillow, and I never had one for years, all I ever had is, you got your bag with your gear in it, your clothes for instance, and what I would do at the end of the night is I would take either a pouch like this or my sleeping bag pouch and stuff it with clothes and use that as a pillow. Well, along came inflatable pillows. So inflatable pillows are lightweight and provide a really nice sleep at night, and there's like dozens and dozens of them on the market. This is just one suggestion. So if somebody who's hiking doesn't have a pillow, for sure they should have a pillow. Number two is a very, very, very cheap item that every backpacker will appreciate. I have a box full of them, but it's a lighter, especially if the backpacker in your life is not a smoker. They might not always have a lighter handy, and lighters come in different sizes, different brands. We're all familiar with the Bic. So I consider the lighter to be an essential part of your backpacking gear for convenience and for safety. You should always have one. In fact, I promote having 2 or 3. You can get mini ones. And what happens is at the last minute when you're leaving on a trip, you might lose one of these along the way. You might want to have one that's empty or whatever. So having a couple of lighters handy is appreciated. So if you have a backpacker in your family and you're looking for a stocking stuffer, get them a little pack of 5 Bic lighters, or go to the dollar store and get the ones that are $1 and just throw a couple of lighters in there so that they always have one at the last minute when they're thinking of going on their trip. We use lighters on our trip for starting fires. We use them for starting the stove. You can use it to melt the ends of a rope. All sorts of things. So a lighter is an essential thing. Not everybody has them kicking around. So if you put a couple of lighters in somebody's stocking stuffer, they'll be more than happy. Speaking of lighters, if you really want to impress somebody in your family, you can get them a Zippo lighter. And a Zippo lighter can be engraved with their name or something like that. Now a Zippo lighter, this one's out of fuel, but a Zippo lighter is a rechargeable. So you take it out, you put a little bit you soak it with Zippo fuel, and then you got yourself a nice lighter. Now the beauty of a Zippo lighter is when it's lit, you can hold it up without burning your hand for quite a bit of time. So if you're trying to start a fire or something like that, and they're a little more wind resistant. But they're more maintenance because you have to get fuel for them and you have to get flints. But if you really want to impress somebody, everybody likes a nice Zippo lighter. Number 3 is a fuel filter. So this is the Hydro Blue. Sawyer makes filters. Lots of companies make filters. Nowadays, filters are like 6-7 ounces. They weigh next to nothing. They screw on top of almost every brand of water bottle, and once they're screwed on top, you use them. They're good for about 6,000 liters, depending on the conditions that you're using them in. They can be backwashed, but it's an item that can be, if somebody left it in their bag accidentally and it froze in winter, it becomes useless, or if it's too dirty, it becomes useless. So You can buy a brand new one on Amazon. I'll put a link to this model in particular, and trust me, nobody will be unhappy about getting a new water filter. They get worn out, they get damaged, and or they get outlasted. So it's nice to have a new water filter. So this is the Hydro Blue one. Sawyer makes them, Catadine. There's all sorts of companies, but a water filter. Number 4, a foam seat. This one came with a bag, but it's that's all it is. It's just a teeny wee little piece of foam. Dozens of companies make these. Again, I can put the link for this particular model on Amazon. They're $6.99. I buy them 3 or 4 at a time, because what happens is you either forget one in camp by accident, or you rip one apart, or if you have more than one and you have a friend coming along and you want to bring 2 so that you can each have one. These are handy. I mean, once you're in camp at the end of the day, you can sit on the ground on this. If there's a log in camp and you just want to put that and sit on it, in winter it provides a little bit of insulation when you're sitting, when you're on the trail and the grass is wet. I keep this one so handy. It's in my pack. It's on the outside of my pack, easily pops out, and then bingo, I got a nice little foam seat. If you're gonna buy one, I'd say buy 2 or 3 or 4 of these for spares or to share with others. They weigh nothing. They're less than $10. Teeny wee little foam seat. All right, number 5, food. Now, you've seen my hiking. I'm lucky I get to go hike with Chef Evan, and he brings out gourmet meal. And I also do a bit of my own cooking. But there's always occasions where you need to have, on almost every trip that I go on, I bring one of these, whether it's in the bottom of my pack as emergency rations, or even on regular rations. You might have a day where it's raining, or it's windy, or it's stormy, and you're kind of stuck, or you got into camp late and you just don't feel like cooking. Well, you know, these dehydrated meals are so amazing nowadays. You rip them open, you dump the 1 cup or 2 cups of water, you reseal it, you let it soak for a while, and then you got yourself a hot meal. These are not cheap. They're $7.99 to $10.99, and they come in different brands, you know, Backpacker's Pantry, Alpine Air, a few other companies, this one. So if you have a backpacker in your family or in your life, and you want to do something nice for them, everybody loves these. They'll bring them on the trail. When 2, 3 people show up and everybody's got a different one, we like to sample from each other and find out which ones are good. So just don't be shy. Go to the mountain equipment store or the local outdoor adventure store and pick up a couple of these meals and throw it in a backpacker's stocking, and they'll be super happy. Number 6, maps. Now, we live in an era today where everybody goes out in the field and has a GPS, and they're looking on their GPS, or they're looking on their phone, or they're planning their trips online. But a lot of people, almost everybody I know, still loves a good old-fashioned map. There's nothing more enjoyable than sitting at home, looking at maps, poring over an area you've been, looking at the peaks, looking at where you could have gone, and I bring maps on the trail. So maps nowadays, you know, if you're hiking in Canada, in the Canadian Rockies, there's 2 brands that are absolutely unbeatable. Gemtrek, this one brand, you know, you can find them online, but you can also find them in bookstores and outdoor stores and things like that. Generally, they're $8 to $9 to $10 for a map. There's an index on the back. There's 13 maps. Now, you might not know which map somebody has or doesn't have, but if somebody you know hikes in Banff, for instance, you're probably not going to go wrong if you buy them a map of Jasper or Kootenay or some area that they might not talk about. You can even get them a map of British Columbia, or you can get them a map from Colorado. It's just ideas. It's just a map. It's something fun to look at. If they already have it, maps get updated from time to time, so there's no right or wrong answer, but there's beautiful maps of hiking. If you looking for ideas, everybody appreciates a map. Number 7 is rope. Now, rope is a super handy thing when we're hiking. It can be used to throw your food over a bear pole, to hoist it up. It can be used as shoelaces. It can be used as a belt. On one video this year, Evan, my friend, lost his bear spray safety, and he wrapped his rope around there. It can be used for guy lines, shoelaces, all sorts of things. But and rope comes in all sorts of quantities and sizes, but I'm just going to put out two kinds in particular that I find are the most useful. The number one kind of rope that I buy is good old-fashioned paracord. And paracord, as it used to be the ropes made for parachutes, it's high strength, it's good for 550 pounds. Nowadays, paracord comes in dozens of varieties of color. You can buy it in stores, fairly inexpensive, but you can go online and it's super cheap and you can't go wrong. So if you go on Amazon and you find makers and you can buy like 100 feet of paracord, and when I go and buy paracord, I'll buy 3 or 4 of them. And I'll buy 300-400 feet in different color. I use it in the field. You use it to put up tarps and things like that. You can even use it to make bracelets like this. So paracord is in the category of rope. You can't go wrong. Everybody always needs rope. But if you want to get the best of the best, you get nice braided 2mm rope like this. And this is stronger than paracord, a little more useful. It's my favorite, but again, it's just a stocking stuffer, so nobody's gonna be you can never have enough rope. That's what I say. Look at me, I got this whole tub full of rope, and that's just a fact. Now the next two items, actually similar to rope, they're all related. The next two items are related to tents, and one I want to talk about is when you buy a brand new tent, it comes like this, and somewhere in the tent you get a bag, and in the bag you get lousy tent pegs like this, and you will get line tensioners like this. Now, a line tensioner, the way a line tensioner works is, actually, I won't. This is where you string the rope on this side and on that side of a lanyard on a fly, for instance, and you're supposed to slide this up and down to tension your guy line on your tent fly. These are garbage. These are garbage. So item number 9 on my list is buy your special person some proper line tensioners. Now these little line tensioners are very inexpensive. You get a bag of these for about $5 in sporting goods stores, or you get them online on Amazon. I'll put a link, but the way they work is, let's say this was the end attached to the tent, and then I put my tent peg. I don't have to worry about the tension immediately. What I do is I can pull on this, and when I release and pull and then relock, then I can adjust the tension any way I want. So when I set up my tent in the afternoon and the humidity comes in and everything starts to slacken a little bit just before going to bed, I quickly tension everything without having to remove the tent pegs. So almost every tent that we buy comes with lousy tensioners, and I never use them. So to anybody will appreciate getting proper line tensioners, and what they do is before going out on their next trip, they'll install the tensioners on their tent. I talked about, actually, item number 9, so number 8 was the tensioners. So like I said, when you buy a tent, it'll come with heavy metal stakes, or it'll come with cheap aluminum stakes. It can come with all sorts of tent stakes or pegs or whatever you want to call them. But if you want to, if you want to get a really nice gift for somebody, I'll post a link. These are a little more expensive, but titanium tent pegs. And I've done videos on these, and I've used them a lot. So the advantage of a titanium tent peg is that it's lighter, it's extremely strong, and it's just going to be something you're going to talk about when you're in camp, because you're going to be the only one who has these gorgeous titanium tent pegs. The reason I like my titanium tent pegs is because I use them in winter. And in winter, if you can get actually to the frozen ground and you drive these in, they're super, they won't bend by being driven in. And then when it's time to pull them out, they don't look like they have a lot of surface tension, but they actually pull out pretty easily. So this will set you back. A set of 10 pegs like this will cost you $40. So it's $40 a peg. But beautiful tent pegs will last a lifetime. And whenever somebody buys a new tent and it comes with pegs, once you got your titanium pegs and you buy a new tent, you can get rid of those pegs and replace the pegs with the titanium ones. And you can do that every time you get a new tent. Your pegs will last forever. We're getting down to the bottom. Number 10 is fuel. That seems weird. Why would you want to buy fuel for somebody? It's another one of those things. Trust me, this year during COVID-19, we all had a hard time finding fuel because it was running off the shelves. So, and fuel is consumed. A little canister of fuel like this is good for about a 4-day trip. So if somebody does a lot of hiking, fuel doesn't go bad. It doesn't leak out. So you can, by having 2 or 3 canisters on the shelf all the time, if they decide to go hiking at the last minute, they won't have to do a stop to go buy fuel. So everybody appreciates having fuel. Now, if you're buying for somebody else, don't get scared by the fact that fuel comes in little canisters like this, bigger ones, and there's an even bigger one. This will last a soloist about 4 days. This will last a soloist about a week, and a big one will last a soloist 2 days or 2 weeks, and vice versa. If a couple is sharing a stove and hiking as a couple, this will do a 2-3 day weekend, no problem, even 4. So my advice to you, somebody thinking of buying fuel, don't worry about it. Buy some little ones like this, buy some big ones. As a backpacker, I like having both on the shelf because I'll change the size that I bring on the trip depending on what I'm doing. And the other thing I want to show is don't be scared. You'll see MSR brand, you'll see no-name brands like this. You'll see this brand, which has the same name as me, Martin. You'll see Jetboil. You'll see, there's so many brands, and somebody will try and convince you that if you have an MSR stove, you should only use MSR fuel, and if you have a Jetboil, you should only use Jetboil. Baloney. You can use any kind on any kind of stove as long as the connection fits, and they're all universal nowadays. So don't be stressed by that. When you find fuel, buy some fuel. Everybody likes having fuel. All right, we're getting down to the end. Number 11 on my list is what I call Microspikes. And Microspikes, this is a regular boot, but slipped on top of this boot is this rubber thing with little carbide spikes in it. So what it does is it takes my regular summer boot, and when I'm using it in the shoulder season, not quite winter where there's snow, then I'd be using snowshoes. But when you're talking about seasons where there's ice on the trail, which is quite frequent, having these Microspikes gives you a ton of confidence when you're walking on the trail, and it makes it a lot safer. $39, $29, you get a double set of Microspikes like this. And if you're walking on the trail and suddenly you get into an area that's all muddy and it's all dry, you can quickly take them off. They come in different style. Here's a different style. This one is designed to stretch over a running shoe, but same idea. It's little spikes in there. And so there's dozens of models and brands of these, but it's a nice gift. It's something that somebody might not have on their shelf at home, and they get invited to go hiking in the shoulder season, and if they have them, it'll make that trip more enjoyable and safer. It's not something everybody goes out to buy, but if you get it as a gift and you have it on the shelf, even if you only use it once or twice a year, it's a really nice present. All right, my number 12, last item, and I'll have a bonus item after that, but it's a bear spray. So in almost everywhere in North America, you can encounter bears while hiking, and you need, bear spray is a nice safe thing. But the reason I put it on the list is because bear sprays take a beating. This one's almost empty because it's been dropped, accidentally fired, maybe it's even been used, it's got dents in it, it's all worn out, they have an expiry date. The pressure doesn't last forever. So it's nice after a couple of years to buy a new bear spray once in a while. So everybody will appreciate getting a bear spray. In most provinces and states, they're unrestricted. You just have to sign a piece of paper, kind of a waiver when you buy it, saying you're not going to use it as an offensive weapon. You're only going to use it for its intended purposes. They are expensive, they're running you $59, $60, kind of thing. But they're valuable, important safety device. They wear out, or if you're going with friends and you need to lend one to a friend, having an extra one. So if you give one to a friend, and they already have one, it's not a waste of money. And while you're at it, if you're buying a bear spray, you might want to think about buying a holder for the bear spray. Now, I attach the holder to my belt, but I also attach a lanyard like this and clip the lanyard to my belt, because there's nothing sillier than somehow or other having your bag turn upside down or taking off your bag and losing your bear spray. So you don't want to lose your bear spray. I found many on the trail over the years, so a lanyard made out of the rope is a nice gift. So that's number 12. So there you go. Ho, ho, ho. That was kind of quick. I could have listed, I was thinking of doing top 30 under $30 or 20 under 20 or something like that. But I decided to go with the 12 days of Christmas and 12 items that are easy to purchase either in a store or online, will be appreciated by any backpacker, whether they have one already or whether they don't. And they're nice little stocking stuffers. So hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give me a like, hit the subscribe button, and by all means give me some comments. Those are always the thing I enjoy the most about posting videos. Let me know what you think of my list. Where did I miss? Where did I go wrong? What else would you have thought of adding to the list? And we'll go from there. Wishing everybody a Merry Christmas, and get off the beaten path.